I'm Jared Craig with the Vet Voice, and on behalf of Legacy PAC, I'm proud to announce that we as Legacy PAC have chosen to endorse Ohio candidate J.R. Majewski for Ohio's Congressional District 9. So thank you for coming on the show, J.R. Could you please tell the audience a little bit about who you are, what your platform is, and what you're going to do when you get to D.C.?
Sure, Jared. So my name is J.R. Majewski. I am the 2022 nominee for Congress from Ohio 9. I was endorsed by President Trump and many other great conservatives that we all know and love. And I ran a very contested race. I won a primary election that nobody thought I was going to win against two elected officials. And then I went on to face 40-year Democratic incumbent Marcy Kaptur. And last September, we were neck and neck with Congresswoman Kaptur, and she launched a smear campaign against me, accusing me of fabricating my military record. It was a well-coordinated smear piece that had deep involvement with the mainstream media. It caused me to lose the election. However, after the election, I kept up the fight, and I worked with members of Congress such as Anna Paulina Luna, Matt Gaetz, Corey Mills, Jim Jordan, and they conducted a special investigation which determined that the Democratic coalition party, it's the DCCC, they worked with an opposition research firm who lied to the United States Air Force and illegally obtained the records of myself and 12 other either candidates or office holders in U.S. Congress and Senate, and there's House and Senate. And so what it boils down to is that, I got out of the service before President Bush created the Global War on Terrorism medal. And because I got out of the service, the medal was never put on my record. And I did earn the medal, but I just didn't have it. It was an administrative error. And my congresswoman knew that, and she decided to smear me, insinuating that I lied about my service. So spent a year going through the administrative process with the Air Force, and as of about 3 weeks ago, I was awarded the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal. And with that being said, I decided to get back into this race and finish what I started. I'm the first candidate in nearly 40 years that's ever unseated this woman, and I plan on bringing it home for the district here in Ohio.
Well, that medal being a sign, I mean, what better sign could you have to run for office when it was a item that became the item of contest that was used to smear you? Now that's a good piece of ammunition to go back at her, because you haven't re-enlisted since then, and it kind of undercuts her false nonsense going on.
Absolutely.
So I'm happy that you're jumping back in the race. We have a lot of America First candidates out there. We're trying to be heavy all across the nation. And one thing I'm posing to a lot of our candidates, even in vetting and interviewing when we're not sure if we're going to endorse or not, but this border issue that is coming up, it's hitting every other issue. It's hitting our economy. It's hitting our youth with the fentanyl, the Chinese mafia that's come in, working with the cartels. Now we're seeing very few actual Mexicans coming across the southern border. And I mean, Ohio's what they lovingly refer to as flyover country. It's not named a border state, but what we're finding is that every state is a border state to some degree. What are you seeing from the Ohio voters? Are they seeing an impact from an open border? And what are your thoughts to secure the state of Ohio?
So, to your point, I see three fundamental issues this election cycle. Number one being energy independence here in the United States. Number two being our nation's wild spending spree and national deficit. And then number three would be the border, or the lack of border security and just a flawed and unfollowed immigration policy. Ohio is flyover country, but my district is the only district in the United States that has an intersection of the longest north-south, east-west interstates in the U.S. We have I-75 that runs all the way from Michigan through Florida, and then we have I-80/90, which runs from the coast of California all the way through New York. And that intersection has become something that's been utilized by the black market more than it's been used by business leaders in the community. And what I mean by that is Toledo, Ohio has been in the top 5 for human trafficking in the world for the past decade. And fentanyl abuse and use and deaths are, I mean, they're skyrocketing here in this community. And the single point of or the common cause, I guess you could say, is the fact that these communities are led by Democrats. And we are certainly being affected up here in Ohio. We're again, Toledo's a rock skip away from Detroit. I-75 connects Toledo to Detroit, and then I-80/90 connects Toledo to Chicago and Pittsburgh. So we're right in that drug smuggling funnel, if you will. And we do face a lot of impact from the border being
the cartels. The cartels are logistics experts. They're geniuses at the logistics, but that's even when we had people enforcing the laws. And I have people constantly ask me, what can we do to put laws in place to make us have a stronger border? And that's not the answer. You hit the nail on the head. There are already laws in place that are just being ignored. Right. And the only way we can enforce those against the people in the executive branch is to replace them or to otherwise impeach them. It's the same process. So we have a problem with the current administration picking and choosing which laws to enforce or to acknowledge while causing harm to every single state. It's you're right about the logistics, the hub. I'm just south of Atlanta. I will never say I'm from Atlanta. But we have a similar issue with the East Coast, with the interstate system from I-20 going east-west, and then 85, 75, and even 95 over on the East Coast. They know how to move people. They know how to move things. And it seems now that the federal government's helping with the human trafficking, shipping people to red states and blue cities within those states. Are you seeing that also in Ohio?
Yeah, I mean, we have so we're a very, very, very unique area here on the 9th. We run the southern border of Lake Erie, and then we have water access to Canada. I think Toronto's a couple-hour boat ride. We have the bridge that you can use from Detroit to get into Windsor, and then to the west towards Chicago, it's all farmland, right? So we get a lot of migrant workers here, and disguised within those migrant workers are folks with nefarious intentions. And our law enforcement here, specifically the sheriff's departments and the Ohio State Patrol, have been very diligent in apprehensions and catching some of these criminals. But I think they've certainly made it known through pleas for help that we're losing the battle here, and it's something that's echoing through the community every day. Unfortunately, for some of the folks, it takes a death or something tragic to happen to hit the media cycle for them to actually understand what's going on. But as you know, and as well as I, the folks that have intentions and the folks that are benefiting from these things like to make sure that media cycle is quickly maneuvered out of the perspective of the voters. So it's an unfortunate thing, but you're right. We have to focus on changing the executive branch, but we also have to hold our representatives accountable in Congress.
Well, one thing that I have learned that most people are unaware of is that the cartels aren't only running illegal operations. They're also running and extorting through the human trafficking a lot of legitimate business entities. A lot of these work crews being in farming or even construction or even house cleaning and restaurant chains, they are all being held under the thumb of the cartel. That this is flying under the radar. So the web of organized crime is larger than what most people actually believe it to be.
Absolutely.
And the
modern day mafia.
Yes, it's hand over fist. They're making money coming and going. And they have these work camps where people can never get out from under the debt that they build while they ship all their money somewhere else. So, J.O., I want to say thank you for standing up for America First policies, the American people, the people of Ohio, and the people of this great country. We are proud to endorse you from Legacy PAC because you stand for America First principles, and we believe that you have the integrity to vote the way that needs to be voted when you get to DC. So I want you to tell people how they can donate to your campaign, how they can volunteer to help you get across this finish line of the primary and for the general election, or where people can go to find out more information.
So my website is jrforohio.com. That's JR for Ohio. There is a donation link attached to the website, and there's also a volunteer sign-up sheet. So we could use all the help we can get. The primary here in Ohio is going to be it's going to be a fight. I'm getting into the race a little bit later than I normally would, and there's been some gamesmanship from the establishment part of the Republican Party that's been meddling in this race. But the people chose me in 2022. They know I got cheated, and I have a very, very strong base of supporters here in Ohio. And I'd love to have anybody that wants to help join the team.
Well, we're here to support you. If you need anything, you've got our open channel of communication, and we treat people in our circle as family. So JR, feel free to reach out, let us know what you need, and we're here to support you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.